Hey friends, it's Neil here from Post to Post. Hope you guys are having a great day. I have a quiz for you, an NHL quiz, an NHL specific arena quiz. We've talked about arena stuff in the past. Those are always fun videos, and I haven't done one in a while. So I thought I'd just kind of create something that's hopefully unique and original on YouTube, and we can have some fun with it. And that is a quiz involving Google Street View and NHL arenas. So this is going to be a long video because it's a bit of a competition. There's points to be had in certain areas and stuff, but I'm hoping you can play along with yourself or with a family member, a friend, send it to a friend, a cousin, whatever. Compete together with your little friend group, and then at the end, see who has the best score, and obviously leave a comment down below and who has the best score as well. And I'll explain a little bit about the rules before we get into it. But just very, very briefly, just want to say that the contest winner announcement is coming, I think this weekend or very early next week. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure you're subscribed to see that one. But as for this quiz, we've got 32 NHL teams. That means 32 arenas to look at. And here's how it's going to break down. So get your pens, get your papers, your notepads, whatever you need to compete. There are 3 points up for grab for every single team. 32 NHL teams times 3, that's 96 possible points. That is your score to aim for. You get 1 point for naming the team. So we're looking at images of arena. If you can pick the actual NHL team that plays in that arena, you get 1 point. Number 2, you get another point if you can name the actual arena like its official name. Sometimes that'll be easy because the name is on the building. Same with the team. Sometimes there's posters and graphics. So there's a few free points here or there in this competition. But number 3, how to get that final 3rd point, that's where it gets a little bit challenging. The photos that you're going to see are not necessarily the most recent photo. So if you're not aware, you can go into Google Street View and it's by default going to show you the most recent image from Google Street View. However, you can change the date. You can actually go back in time. So if I go to Madison Square Garden, for example, and I look, it's going to show me the most recent update, but I can change the date and go back to like 2009, 2008, 2007, whenever it started. I can't remember when Google Street View started. But anyways, I've not just picked the most recent photos. So that's the most challenging part of this because we might be going back in time with some of these ones. And that complicates for the 2nd point because the naming rights of these arenas sometimes change over time. So just hypothetically, you might see an arena in here with the improper name, which is going to kind of guide you into the specific year. So this is a real challenge. I don't expect anyone to get 96 out of 96. I think that might actually be impossible, but I hope you shoot for it. Let's jump in and let's see how you do. First one up, here we go. And by the way, this is in no specific order. These are completely randomized, so it's not alphabetical by team name, abbreviation, city name, anything like that. Completely random to add a little bit more of complexity to the quiz. So as I let you look at this here for a couple of minutes and write down your answers and your guesses, remember you need the team name, you need the arena name, and you need the year for each one of these images. And just to note very quickly, some of the images will actually have like a copyrighted word mark on the photo somewhere. So it might say like copyright 2016 or something like that. Just so you're not like thinking you're getting sneaky and seeing the year on the image. Those don't match, okay? Copyright year has nothing to do with the actual year that is the photo was taken. Usually it does, but for Google Street View, it does not. There's actually one coming up here later that says 2018 on the photo. It's not from 2018. It's very, very not from 2018. That's a huge hint. But anyway, so here's the first one. Let's talk through this here a little bit, since it is the first one. You can tell that obviously it's in the city center, and some arenas aren't. So you have to take that into consideration. And some of you will know what this is instantly. Some of you may not. There are definitely hints in here. And if you got the team and you got the arena name and then the year, like this is the complicated one for maybe this one specifically, the year. This could be any time in the last 15 years, honestly. So you have to look for clues in these photos. So for example, in this one, maybe you look at the taxis and maybe you look at the generations of vehicles that you see in here. It may look modern, it may look old. It'll depend on the team photo that I chose. So I'm gonna move on. We'll do all of them, and then at the end I'll go through them and give you the answers. So the first one is done. Hope you've got it written down. Let's move on. Okay, so this one is, well, there's some freebies in here, I'll just say that. Specifically, the name of the arena that is on here. But this is a good example because the name of the arena may or may not be what is currently the name of the arena. That's a hint for which should send you down the lane of what year this could possibly be. And just below the name of the arena actually is some photos. They're a little bit small. I'm not sure if you can see them, but that also might be a free point for you as well. We're going to start moving through these a little bit more quickly, so get your pens ready. Let's move on. Next up, this is a difficult one, possibly the most difficult one in the entire quiz here. We've got arena with no visible descriptors of team. You've got no arena name. Even the location itself doesn't necessarily scream a specific city. It's not in the downtown core. That's basically all we know. We can see a couple of vehicles in the foreground, but it's a little hard to narrow down the actual year based on those vehicles. So this is a quite a difficult one on purpose. There are some softball easy ones in here, and there are some difficult ones. This is definitely one of them. And if you need a little bit more time, feel free to pause the video, but I will be moving on now. Okay, next up. This is a fun one because I specifically picked a certain year for this one. This was maybe one of the more easier ones in this quiz. Well, you got a freebie point up there. The name of the arena is there, so congrats, you got a freebie. And down below and to the sides and around the rest of the photo, you can definitely tell some possible team branding as well, so that might also be a freebie. And then the year, if you're paying attention to things, you'll probably get the year as well. Let's go on to the next one. This one is very interesting. I think once you learn all of the details of this photo at the end, you'll understand possibly. So what we're looking at here doesn't even actually look like an arena. It's very weird, I guess, if you've never been here before. But those of you who have been here or are familiar with this arena and this location will know how iconic this actually is. So it's not very unfamiliar at all to those people. But it's a very unique one in the NHL for sure. And those who know it will get it instantly. Now, as far as the year, that's a little bit complicated. So keep your eye out for things that could give you an indication of what year this one is. Let's move on. Okay, this one is definitely a little bit more on the difficult side. We've got an arena that's quite far away. There's no signage as far as what team. There's no arena name on there that's super visible. Technically, it's out there, but it's really, really small. You're probably not going to be able to make it out. And this is one of those ones, just to let you know, this is not a recent image. This is an image that is, I would say, more than 3 years old. That's going to be your hint for this one. And the arena itself today actually looks nothing like that on the front. It's kind of been revamped. The actual name of the arena is on there bigger, and there's some signage and stuff too. So maybe a tricky one for sure in some aspects, but those of you who are fans of this team probably got this one right away. I don't know about the year. The year is tricky, but yeah, let's move on. This next one's pretty cool because it has a previous arena name. I'll put that out there as the hint for this one. But also, if you're familiar with the vehicle generations, I'm going to give you a hint that you should be able to nail the year here. There is one vehicle in this image that is the first year of that generation of vehicle. So, for example, the Toyota RAV4, the previous generation runs from 2013 to 2018, I think. And then the new one is from 2019 until current, basically. So your vehicles have generations depending on their design and stuff. So one of the vehicles in here is the first year of that generation, and that is the year that we're looking at. That's a very cryptic clue, but if you're familiar with your vehicles, you'll probably get this one. Next, this is maybe on the easier side is in terms of what possible team the specific trees may give that away as well. But you get a freebie with the name of the arena since it's basically on the front, and you can likely make that out. I know the image will be a little bit small, especially if you're watching this on a phone, but still you should be able to make it out. But the year itself, there's a bit of construction going on to the left, and I did that on purpose because there was only 1 year that I looked at of this arena where there was construction happening in that specific spot. So if you live in the area and you're a fan of the team, you might remember what year they actually did construction. And if you haven't been there and you don't know, well, good luck. Moving on. Okay, so for this one, this one was difficult because of the nature of the team and how possibly new it is in the NHL. The arena looked completely different. No, I said it's completely. It definitely looked different before. So this is one of the ones that is a very recent image. However, with that said, by recent, I don't necessarily mean 2023. I just mean sometime in the last couple of years. Google Images, Google Street View, it depends on where you live, and that determines how often it's updated. So, for example, I live in Fredericton, New Brunswick. Google Street View here is updated like every 4 years or 5 years, but in New York City, it's like every single year. It really depends on population and area where you live. I think the average hockey fan will probably get this one. The year, not super, super difficult, but still maybe a little bit difficult to narrow down. Okay, moving on to the next one, and this one may also possibly be easy to guess based on the trees and the name on the top of the building. But again, it comes down to the year. The year is difficult, and that's why I did this quiz, because I can't just be throwing easy quizzes at you guys. You guys are too smart for that. You'll all get them right, so I got to make it challenging in a little bit of an aspect. And the aspect of the year of this one is, like, I wouldn't even have got this one, to be completely honest. Let's move on. Okay, coming up on one of the newer arenas that doesn't look new. I don't know if that's going to help anyone or not, but a lot of newer arenas look quite modern. This definitely doesn't, and I kind of love the fact that it doesn't. But yeah, this is one of the newer ones, and it's got no team branding on the outside, which is a good thing, I think, for this quiz. So you get the name of the arena, that's a freebie point, but the team that actually plays here, have to do a little bit digging into your memory. See if you can get that one. Next, okay. This is easy in terms of team name and arena name. They're both right there. If you don't get it, I don't know what to tell you. Watch more hockey. But the year is when it gets tricky once again. But if you pay attention to a couple of details in this one, you may be able to narrow it down pretty good. Let's move on. All right, so here you have this one. It is, again, being influenced by some trees, so pay attention to those. The arena name is on there as well, so a freebie. And if you look very, very close, there is some team branding there. However, it's not necessarily the NHL team's branding. Just a little bit of a hint there as well. In terms of the year, what hint can I give for this one? My hint is that I stood exactly where this photo was taken in this exact same year. Not the same month, but the same year. If you're familiar with the background of the channel and some possible travels that I've done, that'll give you a pretty good hint for the year. All right, moving on to the next one. Now, the name of this arena is visible. However, it may or may not be currently named the same thing. I don't want to say exactly what it's named possibly now, but that's a little bit of a hint. And obviously, if you know based on the name of this arena, then you know exactly what team plays here. There's also a little bit of a hint from a different sport down below. So again, some pretty good hints in this one. And this is one of the ones that has you can see actually says at 2021 or 2023 Google. I can't exactly make that out on the image, but it is not from 2021 or 2023. Hey, there you go. There's a hint. It's not either of those 2 years. So here's an example of Google having the incorrect year on the photo. Let's move on to the next one. This was such a strange one for me. Now, you might be able to get it the actual arena name because it is on here. But when I went through the years of this one, obviously there's some differences that happen around. But of like the 9 years that were available to look at as far as images, 3 of the images had a truck pulling out of there at the exact same angle. I don't know, or backing up, whatever's happening here. It was just very strange. Just what a coincidence, eh? But yeah, there you go. A bit of a difficult one, but also kind of easy at the same time. At least 2 points I think are probably pretty easy here. As for the year, good luck with that. Next up, we have another one here that is maybe more on the difficult side. You can peek the name just slightly, but in terms of the year, that's going to be difficult. And if you can't pick the name of the arena, this may be a very challenging one for you. Obviously, the people who live here will get this one probably instantly, but regular hockey fans who have never been to this city, they might find this a real challenge. I personally would find this a challenge if someone was doing this quiz for me. Next up, well, I think this one is going to probably side on the easier in terms of picking the team, because that's a really prominent name, like PNC Arena. Like, there you go, free point. But if you know your arenas, like, instantly you're going to get the team. As for the year, that might be a little bit tricky actually, but not too difficult. I feel like maybe most people will at least be around it. Let's move on. Okay, so we've got another one that's not in the downtown core. It's out in its own little area. I have personally visited this arena in the past 6 years of my life. I've never been inside this arena, but I have been outside this arena, basically in this exact same spot. And that is your hint for this one. I will say that the year that this was taken is not the year that I was there visiting it. So you can use that information. And also another little hint, look at the trailers down below. Okay, let's move on. All right, a new city. And I mean, this one's it's one of the more easier ones in terms of the first 2 points, the team name and the arena name. It's right there. So again, some free points for you. But in terms of the year, I don't know. I personally would not have gotten this one. I think I would have been maybe 3 or 4 years off. I'm not going to tell you what direction, but I'm going to tell you that I would not have got this one. I wouldn't have got that third point for this one. So anyone who could nail the year in this one, super impressed. Let's be super impressed. Move on to the next one. This one is a challenge, but not at the same time. It's very obvious that this is in a very warm climate because of the trees. Again, you can also peek just a little bit of the name. It's very far away. I did that on purpose. I got to make it challenging, right? But it is there. And then if you can peep that, then you can kind of narrow down the year a little bit. But this one is definitely on the difficult side for that maybe not the first point, because there are only a certain amount of teams that play with palm trees around them. Like that's, let's be real. So just right there, you're basically, talking about 5 teams essentially or around there. The arena name is, I think, maybe a little bit more challenging, but the year, that's the biggest challenge once again. Move on to the next one. This one was a fun one because we've got imagery and we've got an arena which has potentially changed names. It's also in a really cool spot in the city. It's on a little bit of a hill. It's a cool looking building. I think I really like this one because you're going to be able to get the team, hopefully, if you use your eyes, and you're going to be able to get the team or the arena name. But as for the year, this one is, I felt, super challenging. I would have failed this one personally. I'm sure there are some who's they're just going to nail it, right? Like, oh, I remember that image on the front of that glass. It's this year. There are going to be those people for sure. I'm not one of those people. I would not have gotten this one. Okay, moving on. What is this? Is this an apartment building? Is this an office building, an office workspace? What is this? This does not look like an arena. And this is one of the least arena-looking arenas in the NHL from almost every single angle, honestly. And I chose this one on purpose to make it a little bit more difficult. But this is an arena. This is one entrance point to an arena. And in terms of the year, I think this one is really challenging as well. And if you don't know the team, it's going to be difficult for you to guess the specific arena and the arena name, I think. So maybe one of the more challenging ones here. Let's move on. Okay, well, this one should be pretty easy in terms of the team. It's plastered all over the arena. And the arena name is on there as well. But I'm going to give you a serious hint for the year. So off to the left, you see a building that's under construction. Well, the year before, that building didn't exist. And the year after, that building was complete. So there was only 1 year, and at least in the images that I looked at, where they were actually constructing this building. So if you can remember, if you're from this specific city and you can remember when that building was built, that's going to give you the year. And if you're not from this city, well, I think you can look at the logo and possibly use that to help you decide, because that has kind of changed a little bit as well. Not necessarily the logo, but things around the logo. And it's a Jersey specific hint, if you can take that. Next, we have, I'm going to be honest, this is one of the older photos, if you can't tell by the quality. So the hint is this is not in 2023 or 2022 or 2021. It's possibly very far from that. Additionally, it's not named the same either. So this is definitely one of the more challenging ones in terms of year, but also kind of not at the same time because of the quality of photo. It's going to likely put you in a time frame. In terms of team, I don't know. Good luck. Let's move on to the next one. I feel like this should be on the easier side in terms of arena name, and well, I mean the arena name's there, but in the team as well. As far as the year, I feel confident that I would have gotten this one. However, I could have been off by a year or possibly 2. I can't actually remember when they built this arena, what specific year, so I might have been off just a tad, but this is one of the more easier ones, I would say, overall. Moving on to I'm being real tricky with this one. I don't think I'm even going to give you any hints, because you already get a point because the name is there basically on the left-hand side of the arena. And on the right-hand side, there is a small hint as well on a graphic that's on the building. But I'm being extremely tricky here, and I'll tell you why later if you don't know. So there you have it. Try and guess the year. This one's hard. Next, this is one of my favorite arenas in the NHL. I think this is one of the coolest looking ones for sure. I love the entryway, which you see here. I've never been there. I would love to visit sometime. You're going to get the name because the name is there. I don't personally see any team branding. So if you're not familiar with who plays here based on the arena name, you're going to find this one, I think, a bit of a challenge. And in terms of the year, I wouldn't have got it. I definitely wouldn't have got this one. Okay, moving on to this one. This is maybe similar to one a couple of ones ago where it doesn't really look like an arena. It looks maybe like more like an office building or something like that. And it is downtown. I'll tell you that, and you can see that. But as far as the year, that's going to be dependent on how well you know the name of the arena and when that changed and some other things. Okay, let's move on. Next, we've got, I think, one of the nicest arenas in the NHL. As in terms of just looks on the outside, very unique with that big glass section there. I've always thought this arena was really cool. It also has an amazing score clock inside that is, I think, relatively new in terms of like the last 4-ish years. I think it's one of the bigger ones in the NHL, actually. Now, the arena name is up on the left, although it's at a bit of an angle, so you might not be able to see it. And I don't believe there are any team graphics anywhere, so maybe this will be a bit on the challenging side. Okay. The next one, I've intentionally used this photo, which kind of cuts off the name of the arena. So you can see arena, and then to the left of that, you can kind of see a couple of letters. And that might help you just a tad. In terms of the year, I'm not sure if this will be easy or not. I'm kind of on the side that it won't be easy at all. I could be wrong. But yeah, there you have it. You're almost there. Two more to go. Hope you're keeping up. Like I said, pause if you need to. Now, this one is easy and tricky. You get the name. Congrats on the free point. You probably get the team if you know NHL logos. And if you don't know NHL logos, do some research. Congrats on the free point. Now, the third point, the year. To me, this would be very challenging. I don't think that I would have gotten this one. I think this one would have fooled me for sure. It's like when I look at the quality, it kind of like doesn't match. If you look to the right, it looks like a pretty decent quality, but in the middle, it's a little bit fuzzy. So and if I was going through this and trying to problem solve this, I would think like around 2010-ish, just based on the quality. But then I get confused because it looks really good quality on the right-hand side. So maybe it's just a blip. Maybe it is 2010. Maybe it's 2020. The parking lot's awfully empty. That's not a hint. I'm just saying. Let's go on to the last one. Now, this one I thought was really, really cool because 90% of what you see isn't even there anymore. So that is a hint. This is not 2023. I'm not going to say anything more beyond that. However, the giant like pedway that we see there, or whatever that is, the walkway that going into the arena, that's not even there anymore. So you know it's not anytime recent in terms of this year. I'm not saying that it's not 2021 or 2020. If you're familiar, you already know the year because you go here and you know what year that was taken down. But maybe relatively easy to choose the team based on the colors. That's your hint for this one. Okay, so we've gone through them all. Now let's see how you did. I hope you got all your answers written down, and we can go see your points. Calculate your points here. Remember, every one is worth 3 points. So I'm just bringing it back up here on my screen. We'll go in the same order. So we'll start off with the number one image, and I'll give you all the details. So this is the New York Rangers. This is Madison Square Garden. I would think that the majority of you probably got this one. So there's your 2 points, Madison Square Garden and the Rangers. Hope you got those two. Now the year is where it gets very tricky. This, like if I was going to guess this one, I likely would have said sometime around 2012, maybe 2011, just based on the year of the generation of vehicles that I see. However, it's actually a little bit before that. This is 2009. Quality is actually pretty good for 2009. That's what surprised me about this one. So 2009, is this the year of this one? Okay, this next one is a fun one because this is Scotiabank Place, which is now Canadian Tire Center. So by the way, I'm looking for the name of the arena in the photo, not the current name. But if you wrote down You know, if you wrote down the current name as well, you don't get any points, but maybe get some bragging rights for that. So this is Scotiabank Place, now Canadian Tire Center, and down below you can see photos of the Ottawa Senators. Now, in terms of the year, I also would not have gotten this. It would have completely thrown me for a loop. I likely would have said like 2015, 2016-ish. This is from 2012. 2012. Now, I didn't say it as we went through this because I felt like maybe it was a little bit too big of a hint, but if you look at the graphic down below where you've got the players around it, you can see a big 2 and a big 0, which likely means it's an anniversary year. So if this was taken in 2012 and it's a 20-year anniversary, what year did the Ottawa Senators come out? 1992. There's a hint that you didn't get, but I hope you noticed it. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This is, I would say, the most challenging one in the entire one for team, arena name, and year. Like, this is by far the most difficult, so I'm going to be really, really impressed if you guys did good on this one. This is the Colorado Avalanche. This is the Pepsi Center, and which is now called Ball Arena, I think, or something like that. And then the year 2015. 2015. I would have not gotten that year at all, for sure. That's a tough one. Okay, the next one. This is the Enterprise Center. That's a free point. If you wrote down anything else other than Enterprise Center, I'm really disappointed in you because it literally says it. And down below you can see the St. Louis Blues merch happening here, or whatever, you know, graphics and posters and stuff. And if you peep the logo that's right behind the stoplight there, it says Stanley Cup Final. Well, what year did the St. Louis Blues go to the Stanley Cup Final? And then off to the far right, it says "Let's Make History," I think on the pole. And then it says, I think, some other things to the left. But anyways, if you remember what year the Blues went to the finals, that was 2019. That is the year of this photo. All right, moving on to number 5. This is a cool one because I love the year because it tells such a story. This is the Boston Bruins. This is TD Garden, and this is, I think, one of the more popular entrances to the arena. I believe there's a couple, but when I went there in 2020, this is the entrance that I used, and really cool arena, actually. Like, I really like the TD Garden. The whole area is really neat. Notice the people. How many people do you see? 1. If there are more, I don't see them. I see 1 person, which is a pretty decent indication of the year, because if you remember what happened in this year where there weren't a lot of people around, 2020, it was the pandemic year. So this is 2020, Boston Bruins TD Garden 2020. Moving on to the next one. Ooh, this one is definitely a little bit tricky. We're talking Chicago Blackhawks for this one. This is the United Center. Now, the new United Center, or not the current United Center, it looks different. It actually says in big letters United Center at the top. I believe there's some posters and stuff on it as well. So this was not any time recently. This is 10 years ago, 2013 for this one. Hope you got it, Chicago fans. If you did, I will definitely be impressed because I went through the years similar to 2013 and it actually looked very similar as well. So if you nailed 2013, expert, absolute expert. Okay, moving on. This is the MTS Center. Now it's called the Canada Life Center, I think. Canada Life something, maybe it's Canada Life Arena. Anyways, this is the Winnipeg Jets. It actually says Jets down there by the front door. You can also see some posters along the right. And the year for this one is 2014. How'd you do? Did you get 2014? Let's move on to the next one. Amalie Arena. The construction happened in 2015. Tampa Bay Lightning. So 2015, I do have a feeling that some people got this one for sure. Okay, moving on. This is the Climate Pledge Arena. You can kind of see it in the background there. It's very small, but you should be able to make it out. And of course, this is the Seattle Kraken, one of the newest arenas in the NHL, even though it's not a new arena. It was obviously refurbished and stuff for the team. And this was taken not in 2023, not in 2021 or 2022, not in 2020, in 2019, actually. This was taken in 2019. If someone showed me the photo, I probably would have guessed 2022 or, around there or something. Or maybe 2020. There's not a lot of people around, so I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, Seattle Kraken, Climate Pledge Arena, 2019. Those are the correct answers for this. Okay, next we've got the Anaheim Ducks. Yes, this is in California. This is the Honda Center. And the year here, I think I would have really struggled as well. This is 2015 for the year of this one. 2015, Anaheim Ducks, Honda Center. Moving on to the next one. This was one of my favorite arenas that I talked about. This is the UBS Arena. This is, of course, the New York Islanders, if you're familiar with new arenas and teams moving around. Previous to this, they played in the Barclays Center, I think it was. And prior to that, they were in the Coliseum. But yeah, UBS Arena, it's their new one. And this photo was taken in 2022. Moving on. Okay, tell me you got 2 points here, all right? Got the Joe Louis Arena, got lots of posters. It's the Detroit Red Wings, okay? Tell me you got 2 points there. Now, as far as the year, I look at the posters up above. I see who's the captain, who's the assistant. I try to make that out as best as I can. I likely would have chosen around 2016, 2017 for this one. Actually, no, not 2017. I would have picked 2016 because there's some patches on the jersey that aren't there for 2017. But 2014 is the year. 2014. I would have got this one wrong personally. But yeah, 2014 Detroit Red Wings. Hope you got those points. Next, we've got the SAP Center. This is in San Jose. Did you get it? So we got the Sharks and the SAP Center. This is 2018. I gave that hint and said I was right here for this one. I have a vlog on the channel of me actually visiting San Jose. I stood right here. So yeah, if you want to go watch that, it's definitely on the channel. Go check it out. But 2018 is the answer. Okay, moving on to the Staples Center. Yep, the Staples Center. This is, of course, the LA Kings. I feel like that's 2 easy points for you there. Now it's called the crypto place or whatever. And then you see Lakers down below. Obviously, the Lakers play here as well. This photo was taken in 2017. I might have guessed 2020 just based on the lack of cars and stuff around. But yeah, 2017 is the year for this one. Okay, moving on. The Washington Capitals. Yes, this is the Verizon Center, which I think is the Capital One Arena now. Anyways, this is an old image. This is one of the oldest ones we have actually in this quiz. It's from 2008. I would not have chose that. I probably would have said 2014 or 2013, maybe around there. But yeah, 2008 for that one. That's crazy. Okay, moving on to this one. This one was a difficult one as well. This was the Minnesota Wild. This is XL Energy Center. And the year for this one, I also would not have gotten 2015. I feel like that's more of a difficult one. So if you got all 3 right there, congrats on that. The next is the PNC Arena. That means this is the Carolina Hurricanes. And the year that this was taken, again, hope you paid attention to the generations of vehicles and stuff happening in the background, 2019. 2019 for this one. Number 18, we had the Gila River Arena. That is, of course, where the Arizona Coyotes played. And you can see their logo down there on the trailer. And if you pay attention to the logo on the front, that's their primary, the year that this was taken. Obviously, that's not their primary anymore because I switched back to the Kachina. So this dates this, and there's a certain range where this could be, but this is 2019, the year after that I was here, 2019. Arizona Coyotes, Gila River Arena. Let's move on to number 19, and this is the Bridgestone Arena. I mean, this is very obvious. You can see Smashville on the front there. You can see a picture of, I can't really tell who the player is, but that's, this is the Nashville Predators, Bridgestone Arena. As far as the year, I would have got this one wrong. I think I said that when we were going through. I would have picked like 2015, 2016, something around there maybe. This is 2012, so way earlier than I was expecting. I would have got this one wrong in terms of the year. Number 20, difficult one for sure, absolutely with the year, but this is the Florida Panthers. So if you're thinking palm trees and you were narrowing down the teams and stuff, you would have been left with 5 or 6 teams, but the Florida Panthers do play here. This is the BB&T Center in this photo. I don't think it's named that anymore. I actually don't know what their arena name is now. I'd have to look that up. But this photo is from 2017. 2017. I think I personally would have got this one wrong. Okay, next is the Pittsburgh Penguins. I mean, you can literally see, is that Mary Lemieux? Actually, I can't tell if that's Mary Lemieux or not. You can see someone there on the front of the building, and that's a free point. You can also see the name of the arena. That's the Consol Energy Center. So hopefully 2 free points for you there. In terms of the year, well, you got to look at the jersey because they don't wear that generation of uniform anymore. So this is pre-2017. So it's at most 2016. And then we can go back all the way till, 2007 or 8 or whatever it is. I don't even know. This is from 2011. 2011 for this one. Hope you guys got it. Next, we've got the office building, the apartment building, the Bell Center. The Montreal Canadiens play here in Montreal, obviously. This is the Bell Center. And this image was taken in 2014. I may have been able to get close to it based on the vehicles in the photo, but still, this is a very, very difficult one, 2014. decent-ish year for the Montreal Canadiens for sure. Next, the Vancouver Canucks. This one was very tricky because of the building hint I gave on the left. This is the Vancouver Canucks. It's Rogers Arena. The building that you see being constructed was constructed in 2016. 2016 for this one. Move on to the next one. The oldest image we have in the lot from 2007. 2007, it's HSBC Arena. Now it's called the KeyBank Arena. I believe is the Buffalo Sabres. So there you have it. This is a tricky one, but still easy at the same time almost. The T-Mobile Arena. So this is very clearly, I think most people should get the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, if you're familiar with this arena, you will notice that off to the right in the middle of the building, kind of where that little white notch comes down, just to the left of that where the door is, that's where the team store is currently, and there's lots of branding around that. You don't see it on this photo, and I picked this photo for that reason because I wanted to show it pre-Vegas Golden Knights rather. So this photo was taken in 2017. Obviously, that's the year that the Vegas Golden Knights started, but this was taken prior to the season actually starting, likely earlier in the year. I can't remember which month it was listed for this one, but yeah, 2017 Vegas Golden Knights T-Mobile Arena. Okay, moving on to number 26. This is the tricky one. This is Rexall Place. And if you're old school like me, you know exactly the team. It's the Edmonton Oilers. They don't play in this arena anymore. They play in a different arena that's not even close to this arena, like physically. It's downtown. It's not even close to this. So not only is this the wrong arena that the team currently plays for, I wanted to make that little bit of a trick in here for you guys. But and then also the year. Like this could span like, I don't know, like 9-10 years or so, or something around there. This was taken in 2010. I chose 2010 because I was actually in Edmonton and saw Rexall Place in this exact same year. I didn't go to a game, but I did see the outside. Okay, moving on to this one. This is the American Airlines Center. You can see that in the photo, so that's hopefully a free point for you. In terms of the team, if you know what team plays there based on the arena, then you would have known it's the Dallas Stars. However, if you didn't know that, you probably didn't get the team because, like I said earlier, there's no team branding on the outside. And the year this was taken is 2017. 2017 for this one. Next up, we have the Air Canada Centre. And if you're Canadian, you probably know this one right away. If you're American, you can narrow it down to, I guess, 7 teams or whatever it is that play in Canada. Air Canada. There's only so many options. It's the Toronto Maple Leafs. And the year here is 2016. 2016 for this one. Moving on to the number 29 position, we've got the New Jersey Devils playing here. This is the Prudential Center. This photo was taken in 2015, and honestly, I wouldn't have got that because I looked at every single year, starting from like 2023 back to like 2014, I think it was, or 13. I can't remember the first year I looked at. But it basically looks the exact same the entire way through. So this one's a definite tricky one. Okay, the 30th one that we looked at here is also a little bit tricky. This is Nationwide Arena. That means that the Columbus Blue Jackets play here. I personally would not have gotten the year for this one. This one is difficult. This is 2021 for this one, so pretty recently. Moving on to the 31st one that we looked at. This is the Wells Fargo Center. It says it right there. And the Philadelphia Flyers logo is on the building as well. So hopefully those are 2 free points for you. And as terms of the year, I think I discussed this a little bit. I would have picked incorrectly. 2014 is the year of this photo, 2014. Okay, moving on to the last one. This is the Calgary Flames, if you didn't guess, by the colors. And this was taken in 2012. It's the Saddle Dome, Scotiabank Saddle Dome, 2012 for this one. I would have got this one wrong. Yeah, excuse me. So there you have it. We've gone through all 32 teams, 32 arenas, 32 arena names. 32 times 3 is 96, unless the math is wrong in my head. So that's possible 96 points up to grab. How did you do? Out of 96, if you're competing against family, friends with you, send it to a friend, whatever, did you win? And if you, whatever you got, let me know down below in the comment section. I hope you guys had fun going through this. I actually had fun. Like, I wasn't part of the quiz because I made the quiz and I found the photos. But I actually had a lot of fun prepping for this video as well. It took me a couple of days, but I really enjoyed it. It's one of the more funner videos that I've done from a creator's perspective. So I hope you guys really enjoyed it as well. And if you did, please smash the thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that for this video. And of course, share it around like I said. And if you're new and you want to see more content like this, throw some ideas my way down below in the comment section. Hit the subscribe button and join me for those future videos. I will see you guys tomorrow for Jersey Concepts. We'll see you then. Adios.